Hey everyone, uh, welcome to According to Chris. I'm Chris Francis, and today is Monday, November 6th. Something I'm going to start doing is giving the date of all of these podcasts so that when we look back on them, you'll be able to tell exactly when they were recorded. And that's for you and for me. So, um, yeah. That's just something that I kind of want to do. So that when I look back and check on them, or you come in, if something is said, you want to know, hey, how old is this video? Now you know, right? So again, today is Monday, November 6th, and I hope everyone is doing well. So I actually don't have much time today. This is my second video of the day. My wife and I are still out of town. Yesterday was our 19-year wedding anniversary, and so we're out of town. I'm not in the studio. I'm not in the office. I'm actually in a hotel room, as you can probably figure behind me, right? And I am quickly losing daylight here. You saw the last video. It was the sun was burning my shoulder off, so I had to make some quick adjustments. But the sun is setting now, so I'm losing some daylight, and I'm losing time. I've got to go pick up my wife. She's at work. So today I just want to talk real quickly about something that I saw. Um, I forgot exactly where I saw it. As a matter of fact, I think somebody else was talking about it. I don't know if you guys know who Dr. Boyce uh, Watkins is. So he was talking about it on his podcast, and I think that's where I heard it. So it's about the rapper Ti. I'm sure most of you anyway know who that is, and so this is a little bit of a finance conversation and a little bit of a relationship conversation. And, we come on, I talk about things that are going on in the public and things that are happening um, more times than not. I mean, it might be a celebrity, it might be just something trending at the time. Um, it really doesn't matter. I like to talk about something that has a point or some information that we can draw or pull from it. You know what I mean? It's not just random celebrity stuff. You know what I'm talking about? So more times than not, we'll use whatever the topic is or whatever the celebrity is or has said as kind of a jumping off point to talk about the larger, broader conversation at hand. So today, again, it's a little bit about money, finance, and relationship. And I'm just gonna give you some perspective on it. So the headline is rapper Ti claims Tiny is not allowed to pay any bills, no matter how much money she's making. Rapper T.I. claims Tiny is not allowed to pay any bills, no matter how much money she's making. So, for those of you who don't know, his wife, Tiny, is, I believe, a singer with, y'all gonna hate me. I think it's SWV. Probably not. Right? It's probably not SWV. She's with one of these girl groups from the early 90s, right? And she's also from either Housewives of Atlanta or not. It's got to be Housewives of Atlanta. I was going to say Basketball Wives, but she's married to T.I. He's not a basketball player. Even though most of those wives on that show are not wives and they're not married basketball players. it's another story. But I think she's on Housewives of Atlanta. I think that's the show she's on. So um, the first thing I want to ask is I want to ask how you all feel about this wording here that she's not allowed to pay bills. I know um, that's going to trigger a lot of women, um, and that, with all due respect, that does sound kind of weird to me. That sounds very weird to me, to say that she's not allowed to pay any bills. My wife is not allowed to pay any bills either. Yeah, you know I'm lying, right? I know my wife is watching this like, oh really? My wife be like, go ahead. Don't allow me to pay any bills. I'm fine. I'm just fine. You pay them all. That's fine. I'm good with that. My wife be like, don't threaten me with a good time. But no, I seriously want to know what you all think about that wording. I think that could have been said um, a better way, but it seems like you know he said what he meant and how he meant it. I don't know. Um, some women do submit to that point and to that level, where let me not get into that. I'll leave that one alone. But so I'm gonna read this to you. So it says T.I. recently sat down with rapper 21 Savage on his podcast Expeditiously, where he discussed his expectations for other men based on how he runs his household. Right? So this is uh, his expectations for other men based on how he runs his household. According to T.I., while he understands that women can be leaders and heads of the household, he prefers to be the one in control. I know that word is going to trigger some people also. So I just want you guys to just comment below. Tell me what you think. Tell me how this makes you feel, right? Like, let me finish it before I go on to that. It says, as a result, the rapper refuses to allow his wife, Tiny, to pay any bills in their home. And then he goes on and it says, quote, men are supposed to be in positions of leadership. I'm just letting you know what my expectations of myself is as a man, which is incorrect grammar, but whatever. That's gonna set the standard of what I expect to see from other men. Even if she can pay it, my wife ain't allowed to pay no bills. If I can't pay the bills, that's an issue. Okay? So let me read it again. Men are supposed to be in positions of leadership. I'm just telling you what my expectations of myself is as a man. That's gonna set the standard of what I expect to see from other men. Even if she can pay it, my wife ain't allowed to pay no bills. If I can't pay the bills, that's an issue. So please, guys, tell me how this makes you feel, what you think about this in the comments, right? Because I'm interested in different perspectives, right? Of course, this is according to Chris. I realize that everyone has a perspective. The one I'm getting ready to give you is mine. Um, but I'm also interested in yours, right? Don't ever think that it's just about me here. I'm just the one talking, but I want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know what you guys feel. I want to know you guys' perspective, and let me know, men and women, what you think about the language of this. Now, I'm going to tell you, as far as I go, this feels weird to me. Just the feeling of it, just the wording is weird. Not allowing another adult to do something that's weird. It's one thing if you want to say, my wife doesn't pay any bills. I take care of everything in the house. That's fine. If you're in a position to be able to do that, that's great. That's fine. That's honorable. Um, there's no problem with that. That doesn't, kudos to you, right? I think that that's honorable that you're in that position to be able to do that. I think the problem that I have is, number one, the language, the language of the control. You know, I don't really know what he thinks he's controlling. And I say that to say because of this. So I did the research, and earlier in the article here, it talks about the net worth, right? So he has a net worth of like $20 million, which in the grand scheme of things, it's fine for he and his wife, and I guess his couple kids, or whatever. 20 million to these entertainers nowadays is not that much money, right? Not when we're living in a day and a time where basketball players are signing 200, $300 million contracts. And $20 million is not a whole lot, but that's neither here nor there. But so he has a net worth of about 20 million. She has a net worth of about 5 million. Okay, so I think basically he got like his start, and his career took off in 2001. Hers took off in 1991, right? And from what I understand, they weren't really in a relationship, but they didn't really know each other back then. But it's clear that she's had money longer than him. She's had success longer than him. And while you've got a $20 million net worth built up now, I don't understand what exactly it is you think you're controlling. Maybe you're controlling her, I guess, to a degree, to a point, I guess. But I don't know how much control you think you have over another person that has a $5+ million net worth. Maybe you have, maybe you think you control someone like that. But, someone who's dead broke can literally walk away from you anytime. Now, granted, it's harder for someone that relies on you fully, totally, and completely to walk away from you if they're dead broke. Surely, someone worth their own $5 million, that's a celebrity, just like you, has no problem walking away from you at any given time that they feel like they want to. So I don't understand the control thing here. Now maybe as a man, you feel like you want to provide that level of lifestyle, and I think that's what you should say. That's fine, because I can tell you for me myself and most of the men that I know, men, I want you to please comment. Let me know. Number one, if you're married, if you're not married, if you've been married, and honestly, like where you are as far as your expectations. So, before I got married, right? Growing up, wanted, I always wanted to be married, and I always wanted to uh, take care of my wife, right? That was my own expectation for myself, right? I'm just gonna tell you. Um, I always wanted to be able to provide the kind of lifestyle, for my wife, no matter who it was, um, that was plush. I'll say, and I'll be honest with you guys. I right now am not able to provide the lifestyle for my wife that I imagined in my head. Because uh, I don't know what your hopes, your dreams, your visions were growing up. I had very high hopes, very high dreams, very high expectations, right? Very high, very lofty. This the same way right now. And while I know that one day I will be able to do above and beyond, what I've always desired to do, I'm not at that point just yet, right? But I know I've always wanted, to take care of and provide for a wife. And I believe that most men, or at least most of the men that I know, I believe, want to be able to do that. Okay, which brings us to the second issue I had with what T.I. said, with him projecting his feelings, about himself or to other men, right? Because particularly being a black man, here in America, and not to um, uh, play the race game, but we know what it is here, right? And so, being a black man, you're not necessarily given the same opportunities as a lot of other men of other orientations and backgrounds, race wise, right? Historically speaking. And more times than not, to really do well and to do for yourself, you have to think outside of the normal box of going to school, getting a degree, and trying to go get a good job, right? If you really have a desire to escape the rat race, you've got to go above and beyond that, because even a lot of times with higher education, the only thing that you're guaranteed is debt. That's just what it is. You aren't guaranteed the job. You aren't guaranteed the career. You're just not guaranteed it. Okay, um, and so particularly for black men, you have to find other ways around that. And a lot of that comes with side jobs, side hustles, and entrepreneurship of different types and different levels. So for him to say that, right, being a celebrity, a rapper, right, like I don't want to take away from anyone's art, from anyone's craft, from anyone's skill or ability, right? But I would like to know what it is that T.I. would have found himself doing had rap not have been his thing. Had he not have been able to go out and get a contract as a rapper. You know, when you read as much as I do, and you travel and you're exposed to things, I have you take things from entertainers with a grain of salt, right? Entertainers, basketball players, football players, athletes, successful black athletes and entertainers just don't live the same life and have the same lifestyle as the average black person, the average black man, the average black woman, the average black family. So you have to take what they say with a absolute grain of salt, right? You almost sometimes just you can't take it seriously, right? Because if you didn't play this sport, if you couldn't run, if you couldn't jump, if you couldn't throw, if you couldn't, shoot a basket, or or string some words together lyrically, whatever it is that you do, right? That allowed you more times than not to go get a contract at a big major record label that's not owned or controlled by you, right? Because more times than not, you aren't putting out your own stuff by yourself. Um, I just money's not looked at the same way and appreciated at the same level, right? And so I think that you've got to be careful with that. And again, because most men that I know, including myself, love to provide, and take care of their wives, their families, their homes, um, and make sure that everything that is needed is there. But you all know that the ability for a man or a single person to go out, right, out of the home. When I say single person, I don't mean a single person. I mean one individual to go out of the home and work and come back home, and that single individual provide for themselves, a wife, 3, 4 kids, a dog, house, white picket fence, all of that stuff. That day is long gone and far, far, far behind us. Um, right now, the way the economy is, and inflation and everything, I mean, stuff was hectic before COVID. Now out here in 2023, it's absolutely crazy. I think the average family is hard pressed, you know, um, to live on one income with a husband, wife, and kids, even without children. Hard pressed. Like, with my income right now, I could probably take care of myself and my wife, um, without her income. But we would have to, my wife lives a certain type of lifestyle. That's just my wife. She lives a certain type of life. Certain things my wife is used to. Certain things my wife is not going without. Certain things she's not. She's not. Okay, stop. You talking about? She can't have Starbucks every morning. She can't travel and come to the Marriott or the Hilton, or you know the Gaylord over on National Harbor. I could take care of us myself, but it would not be the lifestyle that we live now. It just wouldn't be that. So I could do it, you know. I make pretty good money by myself, but it would be a stretch, guys. It would be a stretch. It would not look like what it looks like now. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? And so I think that while it could be done, my wife wouldn't let me do it because she's not she's not going down to that level. You know what I mean? And let's be clear, for the majority of our married life, she has probably made more money than me. That's what I'm talking about, especially as black men. It's a lot of times it's really tough. You know what I'm saying? My wife has almost always made more money than me, right? I'm Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I'm just gonna tell you the truth. And she's made more, but I've carried the household, right? Even though she's made more, the vast majority. Now, last few years, because I do so many things, I make more. Um, I carry a whole lot more. You know what I mean? But it would still look very, very different if my wife said today, I don't want to work. I don't want to work anymore. It would. We would certainly feel it in our household and in our lifestyles, right? Some things would drastically change. Drastically change. I wouldn't have this beautiful scenery from the 11th floor of the Marriott right now. Wouldn't have that. Not at all. So, I just say that to say this. Whatever it is that you come to, whatever decision, whatever agreement that you come to with your spouse, whether you're a husband listening to this or a wife, as long, you just have to figure some things out. And, you have to base it on reality, and you have to base it on where you guys are at currently and where you guys are hoping to go in the future, right? Like, don't let anyone else intimidate you and make you feel bad or less because of what you can do or what you cannot do. Okay? You guys have to understand that depending on what day it is, depending on what week it is, depending on what psychologist or psychiatrist you're talking about, or what it is that you're reading, right? The top 1 and 2 things that cause divorce, right, and marriage. The top 2 things, again, depending on what you're reading, who you're asking, and what day of the week it is, they fluctuate 1 and 2, and they are communication and finance, communication and money, right? So it behooves you not to take your advice, right, from people who get money much differently than you and have a very different financial experience than you. Does that make sense? You have to make work for you, based on what you have and how things come and work for you. Like, that's just how it is. So that's really it now for me today. Again, thank you guys for listening. Again, I'm Chris Francis, and this is According to Chris. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below. Let me know what you think. Give me your perspective. And you can always follow here at According to Chris on YouTube. According to Chris Forever, which is According to Chris, the number 4, Ever, EVER, on Instagram, and According to Chris on Facebook. You can also email me other topics or questions or anything that, I don't know, anything that you might want to know. You can email me According to Chris Forever at yahoo.com. That is my email address. All right. Thank you guys for your time. I hope everyone has a great evening, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.